ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that Vaughn had initially viewed Jocelyn as just another recruit, bright but inexperienced, thrust into the WSB world through Jack Brennan's controversial recruitment tactics. However, as they worked side by side gathering intelligence on suspected criminal operations, he began to see her true potential. Jocelyn's quick thinking during a close encounter with hostile operatives had impressed him, but it was her vulnerability afterward that truly captured his heart. The mission that would alter their relationship forever began routinely enough. Brennan had assigned them to investigate a series of encrypted communications that suggested a major security breach within the WSB itself. The investigation required accessing classified personnel files dating back decades, information that would help identify potential double agents or compromised operations working late in their secure hotel suite. Vaughn was cross-referencing old case files when he stumbled upon something extraordinary. A classified document from the late 1990s caught his attention. A WSB surveillance report on known associates of the Corinthos organization. As he scrolled through the pages, one particular section made him pause. The report detailed Jason Morgan's activities during a period when he was involved with Carly Benson, before she became Carly Corinthos and later Carly Spencer. But it was a medical addendum that made Vaughn's blood run cold. Hidden within the classified files was a DNA analysis report tome that had never been made public. According to the document, samples had been collected during a WSB investigation into mob activities in Port Charles. The analysis revealed that Jason Morgan was the biological father of Jocelyn John Jacks, born in 2009. The report indicated that this information had been classified at the highest levels to protect ongoing investigations and the safety of the child. Vaughn stared at the screen in disbelief. The woman he had fallen in love with, the brave young agent who had captured his heart completely, was not Jasper Jack's daughter as everyone believed. She was Jason Morgan's children of the most dangerous men in Port Charles, a known enforcer for Sonny Corinthos. The weight of secrets. 4 hours. Vaughn sat alone with this devastating knowledge while Jocelyn slept peacefully beside him. The implications were staggering. If this information was accurate, it meant that Jocelyn's entire identity was built on a lie. More troubling was the question of whether Carly knew the truth. Had she deliberately deceived Jax and everyone else about her daughter's paternity? The WSB file contained additional details that painted a complex picture. The document suggested that the paternity had been concealed to protect Jocelyn from the violent world that surrounded Jason Morgan. By allowing everyone to believe Jax was her father, Carly had given her daughter a chance at a normal life, far from the constant danger that plagued Jason's other children. But normal was the last word anyone would use to describe Jocelyn's current situation. She was now a WSB agent, thrust into the very world of danger her mother had tried to protect her from. The irony was not lost on Vaughn in trying to shield her daughter from Jason's world. Carly had unknowingly pushed Jocelyn toward it through her relationship with Brennan. As dawn broke over the Croatian coast, Vaughn made a decision that would haunt him. He carefully copied the relevant files to an encrypted drive, then deleted his search history. This information was too dangerous to leave unprotected, but too explosive to reveal without careful consideration. Love versus duty. When Jocelyn awoke, she immediately sensed something was wrong. Vaughn's usual morning warmth was replaced by a distant, troubled demeanor that set her on edge. "What's bothering you?" she asked, wrapping her arms around him from behind as he stood at the window. Vaughn tensed at her touch, the weight of his secret making physical closeness feel like a betrayal. "Just thinking about our next assignment," he lied, hating himself for the deception. But Jocelyn wasn't easily fooled. Her training had taught her to read people, and the man she loved was clearly hiding something significant. Throughout the day, she watched him struggle with whatever knowledge he had gained. Seeing him wrestle with competing loyalties, their professional dynamic began to shift as well. Vaughn found himself being overly protective during their surveillance work, second-guessing decisions that put Jocelyn at even minimal risk. She noticed the change immediately and confronted him about it. "You're treating me like I'm made of glass," she said after he had vetoed a routine intelligence-gathering operation. "What's really going on?" The question hung between them like a loaded weapon. Vaughn knew that their relationship had reached a crossroads. He could continue to hide the truth about her paternity, maintaining the lie that had shaped her entire life, or he could tell her everything and watch as the revelation destroyed not only their love, but potentially her relationship with her mother and her understanding of herself. The truth emerges. The decision was ultimately made for him. During their final mission in Croatia, They were captured by the very criminals they had been investigating. Under interrogation, their captors revealed they knew far more about WSB operations than anyone had realized. They had their own intelligence network, and they knew exactly who Jocelyn really was, Jason Morgan's daughter. Their captors sneered, using the information as psychological warfare. Did you really think the WSB could hide that forever? Your father's reputation precedes you, little girl. The shock on Jocelyn's face was devastating to witness. In that moment, everything she thought she knew about herself crumbled. The confusion and hurt in her eyes as she turned to Vaughn made it clear that she suspected he had known the truth. Their escape from captivity was tense and wordless, both of them processing the implications of the revelation. It wasn't until they were safely back at their hotel that Jocelyn finally spoke. "How long have you known?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Vaughn's silence was answer enough. The hurt in her eyes transformed into something harder, more distant. The woman who had trusted him completely now looked at him like a stranger. "Everything I thought I knew about myself is a lie," she said. "And you were just going to let me keep living it." Aftermath and consequences. The revelation changed everything between them. Their love, which had bloomed under the intensity of shared danger, now seemed built on a foundation of deception. Jocelyn struggled to understand not only her true paternity, but why everyone in her life had conspired to hide it from her. The questions multiplied exponentially. Did Jason know he had another daughter? Was Carly aware of the truth? Or had she genuinely believed Jax was Jocelyn's father? What did this mean for her relationship with her siblings Michael and Donna? And most pressingly, what did it mean for her future with the WSB? Vaughn found himself caught between his duty to the organization that employed him and his love for a woman who now questioned everything about their relationship. The secret that had been meant to protect Jocelyn had instead become the thing that might destroy their chance at happiness together. As they prepared to return to Port Charles, both knew that their lives would never be the same. The truth about Jocelyn's paternity would eventually surface, creating ripple effects throughout Port Charles that neither could fully anticipate. Their love story, which had begun with passionate intensity in the dangerous world of international espionage, now faced its greatest test. Could their relationship survive the weight of such a monumental deception? Or would the truth about Jason Morgan being Jocelyn's father become the secret that destroyed their chance at forever? Next, we will dive deep into the mind-bending mystery surrounding Nathan West, and whether a brainwashed version of him could be the hidden force behind Drew Kane's shocking shooting. Let's start by unraveling the enigma of Nathan's fragmented memories and what they might mean for the chaos unfolding in Port Charles. In a recent episode that left fans on the edge of their seats, Nathan West made a stunning return, but his recollection of events is anything but clear. He vividly remembers the fateful moment when Caesar Faison pulled the trigger on him, a gunshot that should have ended everything. Yet, when Anna Devane stepped in to fill in the blanks, Nathan was hit with the bombshell that this incident occurred a staggering 7 years prior. Imagine the disorientation leading up to a world that's moved on without you. With relationships evolved, alliances shifted, and old enemies possibly pulling new strings from the shadows. Nathan's initial reaction was pure bewilderment. He wondered aloud if he'd been trapped in a coma all this time, his body preserved in some medical limbo. But that theory quickly crumbled under scrutiny. Far from the frailty one might expect after years of immobility, Nathan appears remarkably fit, his muscles toned as if he's been hitting the gym regularly, or engaging in high-stakes physical pursuits. Perhaps he's been unknowingly training for covert operations, or maybe he's been part of underground activities that kept him in peak condition. This physical vitality hints at a life lived in the interim, one that Nathan himself can't access in his mind, raising chilling questions about what hidden forces have been at play. Adding another layer to this puzzle is the expert opinion from Isaiah Gannon, the trusted medical professional who's been examining Nathan since his dramatic reappearance. Isaiah delivered an optimistic report on Nathan's overall health, noting no signs of long-term atrophy or weakness that would align with a prolonged unconscious state. In fact, Nathan's vital signs and physical exams suggest he's been not just alive, but actively mobile, perhaps traveling across continents, evading detection, or even carrying out missions under duress. Think about it, if Nathan was truly comatose, his body would show telltale signs like muscle wasting or diminished reflexes. But instead, he exudes the energy of someone who's been on the move. This assessment opens the door to wild speculation. Could Nathan have been held in a secret facility, subjected to experimental treatments that preserved his strength while erasing his memories? Or maybe he's been living a double life, his actions dictated by an unseen puppet master. The evidence points to Nathan having been deeply involved in events he can't recall, such as the truck crash that brought him back into the spotlight. If he's telling the truth about not remembering taking the wheel, it begs the question, what other critical actions has he forgotten? Fans are buzzing with theories that this amnesia could extend to something far more sinister, like pulling the trigger on Drew Kane in a moment of programmed rage. The possibility that Nathan doesn't remember shooting Drew adds a thrilling twist to the ongoing investigation, positioning him as a potential unwitting villain in this high-drama saga. General Hospital has a history of delivering jaw-dropping reveals about culprits, and this storyline seems primed for one of the biggest yet. Picture Nathan, under the influence of deep psychological conditioning, executing orders without a trace of awareness. His blank slate regarding those lost years could mean he's the perfect Pat Sissamine, who committed the act but has no guilt or memory to confess. To expand on this, perhaps during those missing 7 years, Nathan was captured and reprogrammed in a remote lab, his mind wiped clean and reloaded with directives from a shadowy organization. This isn't just idle speculation. It ties into the show's penchant for exploring themes of identity and control, much like past arcs involving characters manipulated by external forces. If Nathan is indeed the shooter, it would explain the precision of the attack, clean, professional, and without immediate suspects. Moreover, his return timing feels too coincidental, aligning perfectly with escalating tensions in Port Charles. The writers are clearly building toward a revelation that will shake the foundations of multiple storylines, making Nathan's role a linchpin in the narrative web. Delving deeper, a brainwashed Nathan could serve as the connective tissue linking various plot threads into a massive, overarching tale of deception and revenge. His potential involvement in dark deeds while his true self slumbered opens up endless possibilities for intrigue. For instance, envision a scenario where Nathan was turned into a sleeper agent, activated only when specific triggers were met, carrying out assassinations or espionage without his conscious knowledge. This programming might stem from a vendetta against Drew, orchestrated by someone with intimate knowledge of Port Charles power players. Enter Gen Sidwell, the enigmatic figure who's dropped hints about eliminating threats like Drew and is entangled in the mysterious project that Britt Westburn has been pursuing. Sidwell's operations could involve advanced mind control techniques, perhaps developed in hidden labs funded by illicit means, and Nathan might have been an early test subject. Adding new depth, maybe Nathan's path crossed with Britt's during her undercover work, leading to unintended alliances or betrayals that now ripple back to the present. His unexpected return to Port Charles earlier than anyone could have predicted. He was dispatched on a mission that went awry, crashing his truck as a failsafe to erase evidence. This connection could reveal a larger conspiracy, one that involves international elements or long-buried family secrets, pulling in characters we least expect. Building on that, it's entirely plausible that Sidwell himself programmed Nathan to act as his personal hitman, targeting Drew with ruthless efficiency. Sidwell's cryptic comments about removing obstacles align perfectly with this theory, and his resources would allow for such sophisticated brainwashing. Think high-tech implants, or hypnotic sessions that leave no physical trace. Alternatively, the orders could have come from an even more surprising source, like a rogue operative within the WSB or a vengeful XLI from Nathan's past. To invent a fresh angle, perhaps this programming included fail-safes, such as self-destruct sequences or memory blocks that activate under interrogation, explaining Nathan's current confusion. The family dynamics here add an explosive element. What if Nina Reeves and Willow Tate find themselves scrambling to avoid fallout from Nathan's actions, mistakenly believing they're covering for someone else? Their efforts to dodge charges could stem from misplaced loyalty, only to discover the true perpetrator is tied to their bloodline in ways they never imagined. This revelation would introduce profound surprises, reshaping relationships and forcing characters to confront uncomfortable truths about heritage and manipulation. As this Nathan-centric plot thickens, it's bound to spiral into layers of complexity that keep viewers hooked. The role of programming in his story promises to intersect dramatically with the Drew shooter mystery, potentially exposing a network of programmed individuals lurking in Port Charles. Imagine Nathan piecing together flashes of his lost time, brief visions of pulling a trigger, or receiving coded instructions that lead to explosive confrontations. General Hospital spoilers tease that Nathan may soon recover fragments of those erased memories, unlocking doors to major developments that could upend alliances and reveal hidden agendas. Will he confront his programmers, or will the truth drive him to seek revenge? Next, we will explore the thrilling wave of resurrection sweeping through Port Charles, and the fan-fueled dreams for even more dramatic comebacks that could reshape the entire show. Port Charles has always been a hotbed for miraculous returns from the beyond, and the recent revivals of Nathan West and Britt Westburn have ignited a firestorm of excitement among viewers. These characters, once thought lost forever, are now weaving fresh threads of intrigue into the fabric of daily drama, proving that death is rarely permanent in a world of soaps. Social media platforms are exploding with discussions, where devoted fans compile extensive lists of desired retcons, bold rewrites of history that could bring back beloved or infamous figures in unexpected ways. From the chaotic energy of Nelle Benson Jerome potentially clawing her way out of oblivion, to the shadowy revival of the Casadini family's cursed lineage, including icons like Stefan or Helena Casadini, the possibilities seem endless. And at the top of many wish lists sits the legendary Luke Spencer, whose return could reignite one of television's most enduring romances with Laura Collins. Enthusiasts are passionately debating whether the showrunners will heed these calls, breathing new life into old graves, or if some secrets are better left buried deep in the annals of General Hospital history. To add a fresh twist, imagine if these resurrections were tied to a hidden underground network in Port Charles, perhaps a secret society experimenting with life-extending serums that explain how characters like Nathan and Britt survived their supposed demises. The clamor for Nelle Benson Jerome's resurrection is reaching fever pitch, as fans envision her scheming persona rising like a phoenix to unleash unparalleled turmoil. Her dramatic plunge off a cliff in 2020 was wrapped up far too tiddly for many, leaving room for a clever retcon, where she was secretly rescued by an enigmatic benefactor Mabe, a long-lost relative with ties to the Quartermain fortune, or a shadowy operative from an international syndicate. This comeback would send shockwaves through the lives of Michael Corinthos, Willow Tate, and Nina Reeves, amplifying the already intense custody battles over young wily Corinthos with layers of deceit and manipulation. Picture Nelle infiltrating family gatherings disguised as a reformed ally, only to drop bombshells that expose hidden affairs or forged documents, turning alliances upside down. Online forums, especially Facebook groups dedicated to GH, are overflowing with enthusiastic posts declaring her return as the ultimate soap opera goldmine, capable of boosting ratings through sheer villainous charisma. Inventing a new element. Perhaps Nelle's survival involved experimental treatments in a remote clinic, granting her enhanced cunning or even subtle superhuman abilities that make her an even deadlier foe. This plot could cleverly intersect with Jen Sidwell's intricate schemes, positioning Nelle as an unpredictable wildcard in the ongoing probe into Drew Kane's mysterious shooting, where she might hold key evidence or motives tied to past grudges. No discussion of resurrections would be complete without delving into the enduring Casadini curse, a legacy that perpetually promises dark and twisted surprises for Port Charles residents. Fans are desperately hoping for a revival that reignites this infamous family saga, bringing back figures who could plunge the town into fresh waves of intrigue and betrayal. Take Stefan Casadini, whose apparent death in 2003 left a void in the clan's power structure a retcon might reveal. He was spirited away by WSB agents for a classified protection program, emerging now with insider knowledge that challenges Valentine Casadini's authority, or mentors young Charlotte Casadini in the arts of deception. His return could introduce exotic elements like hidden Casadini islands with ancient artifacts that hold the key to immortality, adding a mystical flair to the storyline. Then there's Helena Casadini, the quintessential evil matriarch, whose 2015 demise always felt suspiciously inconclusive, as if she had one more diabolical plan up her sleeve. Enthusiasts speculate her comeback could entwine with Britt's harrowing experiences in the Five Poppies Project, allowing Helena to orchestrate vendettas against Anna Devane or Alexis Davis from beyond the veil, perhaps through holographic messages or cloned intermediaries. To expand creatively, imagine Helena having faked her death using cutting-edge technology smuggled from a European black market, now returning with a cadre of loyal followers ready to reclaim Casadini dominance. These revivals would not only honor the family's storied history of villainy, but also inject high-stakes drama that ties into current arcs, keeping viewers glued to their screens. Yet, the resurrection that tugs at the heartstrings of the most dedicated fans is undoubtedly that of Luke Spencer, the roguish adventurer whose supposed death in 2015 shattered Laura Collins and left a gaping hole. In the show's emotional core, the absence of a confirmed body has always fueled speculation, paving the way for a retcon, where Luke survived a clandestine rescue operation perhaps orchestrated by old allies in the underworld or even a rival who kept him captive for years in a forgotten European hideout. This twist would facilitate a long-awaited reunion with Laura, rekindling their timeless love story amid fireworks of passion and conflict, complete with adventures that span from Port Charles docks to exotic locales. Fans on social media are vocal about their desires, flooding comments with pleas like Luke and Laura forever, while envisioning how his return could provide solace to Tracy Quartermaine as she navigates her grief over Monica's passing, offering brotherly support laced with his signature wit. However, the real-world hurdle of Anthony Geary's retirement looms large, making this dream a challenging one for the writers to realize that though a limited arc or flashback sequences could serve as a compromise, adding an inventive layer, Luke's survival might involve a plot where he was brainwashed into a new identity, only to break free and return with crucial information about ongoing threats, like the Sidwell conspiracy, clashing spectacularly with Sonny Corinthos and turf wars that echo their storied rivalry. As General Hospital continues to evolve, the question remains, will the show dare to rewrite such pivotal history, granting fans the iconic duo's happily ever after? Or will Luke's legacy stay enshrined in memory,